So today we are reviewing a game called AWindingPath. I want to thank Flynn's Arcade for providing me a key for this game. And this game is made by Three-Eyed Games. And like I say, published by Flynn's Arcade. And you'll see here, it's got a really interesting art style. It was one of those things where I wasn't sure what to expect apart from what I saw in the trailer. And then actually, when I played it, I was like, there's a lot of charm to it. You'll see when you play the game, you've got a lot of interesting characters. There are things that you can interact with. The game quite early on tells you, if you see something with a symbol, you can interact with it. And there are things to talk to. There are things to find. There are, like I say, funny things that you can do within the game, which you'll see as we go on. Here there's a scarecrow, and the key part of this game I found was there are conversations that are happening. It's key to keep an eye on those because they tell you the thing that that person needs or that thing needs, and that allows you to then think, right, if I find this, I need to go back to that person, and so on. It's very clear. It's not something you get lost in. It's very easy to track. Unfortunately, as I'll show in a second, there is actually within the menu a guide for the conversation, so you can go back over your conversation. So if you've missed something, you can see what you might have missed. And here you can see I'm having fun by just swinging on the windmill and going around with windmill blades, which I thought was a really nice, charming thing to happen. And you can see different characters. Like I say, this is the very beginning area. I don't want to show too much of the game, so what you'll find in this review is you'll see chunks of early part of the game, and I'm holding back the later bits because I think there are some really interesting and fun characters to meet and interact with and stuff to do as you go on within the game. Like, the sound design is really good as well. It's something else I noticed, that there'll be areas where you think, oh, there's not much going on visually, but actually if you look closely you can see the wind blowing. There you can see the conversation history, and like I say, that's quite useful to find what maybe that person needs, or what that thing needs to progress. And you see there, we get to meet stones that are waiting for us to put on a concert, which is really funny and interesting, and there's a lot of moments within the game that happen like that. There are some small puzzles, and there are things like you can fall off a cliff like I just did there. And the music is kind of accented. It's very subtle. Doesn't feel too much. It's perfectly placed. And like I say, here's another character that you meet, and then they ask you to go and do something. I won't spoil it, so I've kind of cut out that bit. You can just see what we're doing here. That's one of the puzzles that we're interacting with. There are some other puzzles like this one. We have to figure out how to keep that door open. And here you have to figure out how to get to the top, and so on. So there are times where you can really see that you have to think, but it's calm in the way it approaches it. It doesn't rush you through anything. It feels like a very good game to play and just chill out to and just have fun and figure out where you need to go next and who you need to talk to next, and did I move this in the right way? Do I need to push this here? What do I do? And you'll see as well here we've got a lot of options in terms of the colour palette that you can use. So I was playing around with those to kind of see which was my preference. They all have like a different style, and what I would say is that some are probably easier for some people to view than others. Some may feel more comfortable to look at, and there are some really cool styles to it. Like this one that looks like a Game Boy game. I thought that was really, really cool, and it kind of added some depth to some areas. The same as here. Again, it's kind of what's visually pleasing to you. There's no right or wrong answer. I think it's great that it gives you multiple options, and they all have a view that I think is a little bit easier or maybe more preferable. And here we've got the first thing that we desperately needed, which is a lute. Sorry, a lyre, beg pardon. It's a lyre. which is a very cool instrument. We then learn a song and it gives us an ability to call down rain clouds. So then that opens up stuff. You can see here, this is us getting to a point where we're about to leave the opening area. Now we're in a balloon and we're traveling to somewhere else, and we're expanding the places that we have access to, the places that we're seeing, the people that we're interacting with. It's worth going back. There's characters that you meet, and they're worth going back to seeing them after the fact. Because quite often you either have information or items or experience that is then worth sharing with them. Because you might have a conversation that feels like it cycles through and you've got to an end of a conversation, but actually, later on, you may have the information that can help progress their story or progress that interaction further, which again is quite cool. Here are some items. We found this after somebody was discovering a cave, and there are items that you find that within the game then give you these little dewdrops, I think they're called. But the good thing about this is you can look at the other ones and see, you can try and figure out maybe what you've missed. So it's worth then thinking, do I need to go back and do this? Is there something else I need to interact with? And as you can see in this area, we're kind of getting to more places with more people, more stories to interact with, more stories to follow of things that we need to do or learn or try and address. But it's all done in a really good way. Like, I really enjoyed how this game put that all together. What I would say is, even if I didn't get this as a key, I would definitely play this game. It's a perfect game for me as a streamer to stream, but also just to play and just hang out and enjoy. So if you can pick up this game. It's out on the 27th of October. I'll put some links in the description below so you know where to pick it up from. And that's my review. Thank you and goodbye.